Okay, so this is the breaking news that came out just a few hours ago. Blizzard has gone ahead and announced Phase 3. I see this as a 25-minute video. I've not looked at any spoilers. I know I'm maybe 2 or 3 hours late to this. I don't know anything what we're going to hear in this video today. So we're going to break this down step by step and see what the deal is. We're going to talk about, is it good? Is it bad? Do we like it? Do we not like it? Here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Clay Stone, Associate Production Director of WoW Classic. Welcome to our Season of Discovery Phase 3 preview. As our team has shared in the past, we have been blown away by the reception to Season of Discovery, and we're so excited to share this sneak peek at what's ahead.
Do you think that is true and sincere? Has the success of Season of Discovery blown Blizzard away? I would guess so. I think it's been more successful than they would have anticipated.
With you. So with that, let's take a look at what we'll be covering today. We'll kick things off with raid information. Then, a preview of rune abilities,
I'm gonna move my webcam
followed
up
by
there.
our PvP updates,
Okay.
changes and additions being made to world events, a look at what's coming to professions,
Okay.
and close it out with a very important system update, and more, which you're definitely going to want to stick around for.
I'm excited. Let's do this.
So just like last time, some disclaimers. We're going to put the build up on PTR soon to check our era and hardcore realms. But like all the other phases, Phase 3 of Season of Discovery will not have a PTR for player testing.
It's a secret.
Still, there will be some data mining that occurs in advance of the launch. But as we've been saying since the beginning of Season of Discovery, not everything data mined will actually be in the phase or
Blizzard, for the last two, for SOD initial launch and also the PTR before Phase 2 came out, they're putting in some secret things, like they're putting in some debates to trick people because they don't want people to know exactly what's going to be in, right?
or future phases. So speculators beware. And conversely, there's more to discover in this upcoming phase and beyond than we're going to talk about ahead of time, and we want your feedback. Everything we do across Classic continues to be a journey that is co-written by you, the players, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts on all of it.
Yep.
All right, so I'm sure it is a total surprise that absolutely no one saw coming, that the Temple of Atal Hakar, aka the Sunken Temple, will be our new and first 20-player level upgrade.
Let's go.
This raid is jam-packed with 8 bosses, tons of new items, including new item sets, new and revamped epic drops, and up-leveled and rebalanced quest rewards.
I'm going to pause here. First up, Temple of Atal Akar, aka Sunken Temple. We kind of had some sneaking suspicions that this was going to be the raid, and now we have the confirmation. This is great. This is going to be such a good raid. It's a giant... When I close my mind and I think of the word dungeon, Sunken Temple is the first place that comes to mind. It's in my mind, it's the most like dungeonous of all the dungeons. This is going to be awesome. 20 players. I'll speak for myself. I'm getting a little bit sick of the 10-man meta. I like bigger raids personally, and so 20-man, I'm very happy about that. 8 bosses. Okay, Black Fathom Deeps had how many bosses? 7? Black Fathom Deeps, yeah, something like that. And then Nomer. So anyway, the point is, this is the biggest raid. It's bigger than Nomer. It's bigger than BFD. Okay, hundreds of new items. New and revamped epics. Makes sense. They've done that before. And up-leveled quests and revamped quest rewards. Now, every single class has a level 50 class quest that takes place in Sunken Temple. Warriors, it's the legendary Diamond Flask. For Warlocks, you get the Soul Harvester, the Scythe. It's an iconic weapon. Priests, you get the beads, whatever. Okay, the Trinket. So if they revamp those class quests, make them cooler, bigger, more flamboyant, that's going to be exciting. Let's play the video.
This is also when the level 50 class quests come online, which will provide a wide array of powerful items for each class. Jumping into a quick preview of a few of the bosses, the first boss in this raid is Atel Arion, a massive berserker troll that acts as a bit of a janitor, cleaning up or potentially eating any person or thing that happens to fall down from the atrium above. If the fall doesn't kill you, this guy definitely will. Next up, we have a brand new boss, the Festering Rot Slime. This engorged, gelatinous monster inexorably patrols one of the outer rings of the Sunken Temple, consuming any wandering adventurers hapless enough to cross its path. A bit further into the raid, we have Jamal An and Ogum, a priest and an undead avenger, utterly dedicated to seeing the blood god Hakar return to the mortal world.
Dude, so many of these Sunken Temple bosses can be turned into really cool raid bosses. Like this room, the environment, the bosses themselves, this is going to be such a cool raid. I'm so excited.
These two will keep you on your toes and have a few tricks up their sleeve to keep the fight interesting each time you encounter them. The last boss in this preview is the mighty green dragon, Aranicus. Aranicus has been having a bit of a bad dream for the past few decades, and that dream is manifesting in our world in a variety of ways, which Nor will talk about in just a little bit. For those that make it to his lair, we can't recommend waking this big beast up.
What does that
mean? But if you do and are able to prevail, a lot of sweet loot will no doubt await you. Speaking of loot, here's a quick look at some of the awesome rewards you'll find inside the Sunken Temple. First up, we have a new take on the Drakestone item with a new Shadow Arcane spell damage variant.
Shadow, Arcane, and damage and healing. The Drakestones obviously are kind of iconic pieces of loot from Sunken Temple.
Next up is a rather unique weapon. Yes, it's an axe gun.
Temple Explorer's Gun Axe. Hold up, wait a minute. Okay, it's a two-hand axe. Use fire the gun at your target, dealing fire damage and additional damage over time. 1 minute cooldown. That's pretty... Dude, I want to see what this looks like. Wow, okay.
Shamans and paladins have felt left out for quite some time when it comes to having ranged weapons, and short of Egan's blaster, there's not much for them. Now, you too can have a gun that you can swing like an axe or shoot like a gun, with a cooldown, of course. It's unfortunately a bit slow on the reload.
Okay.
Lastly,
it's like a musket.
We have a quick look at our tier tokens.
The first thing I see, I'm sure he's about to say this, these are class-specific tier tokens: Warrior, Paladin, Hunter, Rogue, Shaman, and then there's another tier token, presumably that's for the other classes. This has been one of the biggest requests with the Nomuragon tokens, is that, man, they're too broad. Condense them down onto only specific classes. Okay, this is good. I think a lot of people are going to be happy about this.
Similar to AQ40, we'll have two different tokens with several classes on each. We really like the token system in Nomuragon, but it sometimes felt a bit bad to be rolling against the entire raid whenever one dropped. So now we'll have two different tokens, and multiple will drop on each boss that can drop set tokens. And here's a quick look at some of the epic rewards. First off, we've got a glow up for the classic Embrace of the Serpent robe for healers.
Okay.
We've also updated the
Nature as healing. Okay, just cloth healing robe. Cool. Dragon's Cry. This is the one-hand epic sword. Attack power calls forth the Emerald Dragon Whelp. Stamina. Okay.
Sword Dragon's Call. One cool thing about this weapon is that we've added several brand new glow effects for weapons in this patch. And this is one of the first items to take advantage of having a very fancy, but still quite classic, new glow. And just...
That's awesome. Dude, that's sick. And it totally matches the vibe of Sunken Temple. Cool, dude.
It's like in previous raids, we've got several fun items lined up as well. The first item is the Atalai Blood Ceremony, which allows you and a friend or frenemy to play a deadly game where only one survives.
Wow. Dude, it's like a 50-50 Russian roulette. Okay.
This item is great for when you need to decide something, and a coin flip just won't cut it. The Unorthodox Hex Stick allows you to embrace your inner critter and transform into a disgusting little creepy crawler to dazzle and disgust your friends.
Great.
These are just a few examples.
Gross.
And there are several cool things coming with this patch. We've intentionally left the best ones for you to discover yourself. Lastly, one bit of feedback we took to heart this patch was that a lot of updated quest rewards for previous level up raids could feel a bit underwhelming. So for Sunken Temple, we've actually gone a step further and helped rebalance and restat many of the existing quest rewards. The first example here is a Vanguard Helm. And you can see we've made it a bit more attractive to the classes that can use it.
It's juiced
and Helm of Exile as well. And while not a quest reward, we have also carried forward some of the work we did updating dungeon drops in the previous phase, and revamped even more dungeon drop rewards, including Princess Theradras's Scepter.
Dude, they're doing it all. So this is dropping from Maradon. They're juicing it all up.
And with that, I'll turn it over to Matt to give us a preview of runes and just some of the new abilities you'll get access to.
Hey folks, I'm Matt
Matt.
Everett, Senior Engineer on the Classic team. I'll go over some of the new runes you might find in Phase 3. Before that, I want to note that we heard your feedback that a lot of runes last phase weren't accessible until level 40. We've tried to balance Phase 3, so you'll find more runes while leveling, but you'll still have some to look forward to at 50.
Great.
Let's look at Druids first. Gore gives you a chance to reset some key feral cooldowns and generate some rage. And Improved Bark Skin.
Striking a target with Lacerate, Swipe, or Maul, 15% chance to reset the cooldown on Mangle Bear. Isn't the big problem with Druids is that one of their runes needs to be on legs, but it's not, or something, right? And so Druids are really mad about that. Something like that. Improved Bark Skin. This is trash. Maybe it's trash. Improved Bark Skin. Your Bark Skins can now be cast on allies. Oh. And it also can be cast while you are shapeshifted. That's cool.
Gives you all the benefits of Bark Skin without the drawbacks.
I do like that.
And you can cast it on your friends. Next up are Hunters. With Lock and Load, your traps grant you a free shot with no cooldown. This could be a great 1-2 punch with something like Double Chimera Shot. Focus Fire lets your pet build up Frenzy, which increases its attack speed. You can activate it to consume your pet's Frenzy, boosting your attack speed and granting your pet Focus. Next up are Mages. Deep Freeze is a powerful 5-second stun on a frozen target. If the target's immune to stuns, it takes significant damage instead. Balefire Bolt lets you live on the edge of risk and reward, dealing heavy damage but decreasing your spirit. If you reach 0 spirit, you die. And by the way,
I gotta say, this seems like a very warlocky ability. Balefire Bolt. Okay, so you're casting and your spirit goes down, and if your spirit goes all the way to 0, you die. That's like a very warlock type of ability, right? You are potentially killing yourself or killing yourself to do more damage. I think this like kind of doesn't fit with mage like class identity. Maybe, I don't know.
If you reach 0 spirit, you die. And by the way, if you're leveling a new mage, you might find this rune earlier than you expect. Paladins. Improved Sanctuary makes you even tankier, increasing Sanctuary's damage blocked and damage dealt back to attackers. Wrath lets you crit with Consecration and applies your melee crit chance to your Holy Shock, Holy Wrath, and Exorcism spell.
Consecration can crit, and melee crit is now being applied. So Paladins are now benefiting from spell crit. It's your spell crit plus your melee crit. Wow.
Let's look at Priests. Pain and Suffering allows your Mind Flay ability to refresh the duration of Shadow Word Pain, while Surge of Light causes your crits to make your next Smite or Flash Heal instant cast. Rogues. Honor Among Thieves is incredibly powerful, granting you a combo point each time a party member scores a crit. It does have a short cooldown, but you'll be swimming in combo points with this rune.
That's insane.
Cut to the Chase makes it easier to keep Slice and Dice up by allowing Eviscerate and Envenom to refresh it back to its max duration. Next up are Shamans. When you deal melee damage, Mental Dexterity applies your intellect to your attack power, and then applies 30% of your attack power to your spells. Riptide is a fan favorite that instantly heals the target for an initial amount, and then heals for a similar amount over time. When you chain heal a target with Riptide active, it gets consumed to
I feel like Mental Dexterity, man, this is... like, Shamans are already really good.
Power up the chain heal. Warlocks. Pandemic makes damage over time spells even more overwhelming.
Okay, that's great. Dots are going to be critting now. Awesome. Say Felguard. Say Felguard. Say it. Say it.
By letting them crit. With this rune, you can summon the iconic Felguard to supplement your stable of demons. The Felguard is a powerful melee damage dealer capable of both tanking and dealing out serious punishment. He's not the only new demon you can summon this phase, but I'll let you discover that on your own. Warriors. With Taste for Blood, your rend damage lets you use Overpower once per 6 seconds. Sword and Board gives your devastation.
Oh. Okay, they're trying to incentivize warriors using rend. Okay, cool. Hold up. I missed something with Warlock? Rewind, hold up.
Felguard to supplement your stable of demon pets. The Felguard is a powerful melee damage dealer capable of both tanking and dealing out serious punishment. He's not the only new demon you can summon this phase, but I'll let you discover that on your own.
You're right, I did miss that. He's not the only new demon you can summon this phase. I mean, what other demon could it be? Infernal. So yeah, it's actually possible to summon an Infernal. Like normally the Infernal book or the spell is level 50 anyway. So I mean that I guess that was to be expected that you can summon Infernal. But of course Infernal is on a cooldown and it only lasts for a couple seconds. Maybe they're not talking about Infernal. Maybe they could be talking about, I don't know what, Observer, Wrathguard, Doom. I don't know.
Warriors. With Taste for Blood, your rend damage lets you use Overpower once per 6 seconds.
Okay.
Sword and Board gives your Devastate and Revenge a chance to reset Shield Slam's cooldown and make it cost no rage. This time, Warriors get a bonus rune. The much requested Gladiator stance lets you live that Sword and Shield Gladiator fantasy. This increases your damage when wearing a shield, as well as letting you use abilities from other stances at the cost of survivability.
They like that.
This is one we've really been looking forward to bringing to the season, and we can't wait to see what Warriors are able to do with it. I love watching players work together to find all the new runes each phase, and I'm looking forward to this one. Up next, Nora will join us to talk about PvP.
I cannot wait to go to Wowhead to look up where all the runes are in this next phase. I'm going to be Wowheading so hard.
Updates.
Hey, thanks, Matt. My name's Nora Valletta, and I'm a lead software engineer on WoW Classic.
Okay.
I'm here to talk about some of the other updates we've got coming in Phase 3, starting with PvP. One of the things we've learned from previous phases is that PvP can be a bit rough when the only thing available is PvE gear that is generally set up with output stats rather than survivability stats.
That's true.
As a result, we're going to be introducing a brand new level 50 PvP set that
I like that.
requires ranks 5 through 7 to equip and earn.
You need to be rank 5, 6, 7. Okay. So presumably 7 is going to be the new rank cap. Right now it is 5.
This is similar to the rank 10 and rank 13 PvP sets in that it's a full 6-piece set with appropriate PvP set bonuses. There will also be a starter set available from a new faction called the Emerald Wardens. But
that's actually huge. That's great. That's great that they're doing this. Now, we don't know anything about Emerald Wardens. I'm sure, maybe we're going to hear about it later in the video, but okay, great.
The Emerald Wardens, but we'll go into more detail on them later on. Here's a quick look at a few of the new PvP set items.
Level 50, Knights. Okay, so this is Knights Lamellar Leg Plates. That's Priest Mage. Plate Leather. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, Stamina Intellect. Improves chance to get a critical strike with melee by 1%. Damage and healing. This is like Ret Paladin set. Damage healing, stamina. Yeah, okay. Leather has a bunch of armor. Stam int. Damage healing done by 14. This is like Boomkin set. Stamina spell power. This is the Boomkin set. Knights, Knight Lieutenant, Satin head cover, Priest, Mage, spell power, bonus damage, stamina and spirit, 6 stamina, and then a bonus. Oh, I'm sorry. This is heal. Oh, I apologize. This is healing, not spell power. It's healing, and then the 6 bonus is healing. Okay.
You'll notice that they are a bit more specialized and focused than the previous level 60 PvP sets were. Each class will have a variety of sets available to them, such that multiple different specs or roles are covered. We're also making a few adjustments to the Blood Moon event, including adding brand new rewards for level 50. We'll also be adding a new currency for the level 50 rewards called Massacre Coins, which you'll earn when killing higher level players in the event.
So this means that, one, probably we are not getting a new PvP event, and we're going to still be doing STV, but STV is going to have new rewards. Okay.
Be retiring the Bloodstained commendations that are currently available from the Bloodcoin vendor. Any existing commendations that you have will still function after the patch, but don't hold on to them forever. They will expire after 2 weeks. We think it's okay if you're able to bank these now to give you a bit of a leg up on PvP ranking at the start of the next phase, but we don't necessarily want you to be able to hoard enough coins to get you all the way up to rank 14.
Okay, the reason why is because you can turn in the Bloodstained commendations for honor, right? So if you are a super sweaty min-maxer, what you do right now is you do STV every 3 hours for the next, I don't even know when this comes, like the next 2 weeks or whatever, whenever this comes out, and then you cash them out, right, later on, okay?
Later on when that rank becomes available.
This means STV, starting now, is hot. It is back on the menu. Go to STV. Let's go.
We'll have a new PvP Honor consumable token for level 50 as well, purchasable with the new currencies. And how about some gear? Here are a few of the new items available via the Blood Moon event in Phase 3.
The Corrupted Smashbringer. Come on, it's too soon. Do you know my history with the Corrupted Ashbringer? It's too soon. Come on. We don't need this in the game. Okay, knock the target silly for 2 seconds. Headhunter's barbed spear hurls the spear at the target, immobilizing them for 5 seconds. Cool, 5-minute cooldown. Dude, this is a thrown weapon? That's sick. Yo, that's sick. That's a great thrown weapon. That's actually awesome. That's so cool. Librum of Draconic Destruction, Paladin, attack power when fighting Dragonkin. Oh. Ooh. Whoa. Bloodthirst Crossbow, your ranged attacks leech 5 health from targets. Okay, as I'm a Warlock player, obviously I really like Drain Life or Leech Life type of abilities, lifesteal abilities, but 5 is like nothing. That feels like nothing. Yeah, I feel like it should be more than that maybe. I don't know. Your ranged attacks, yeah, I feel like that's just not enough maybe.
3. Do note that the Headhunter's Barbed Spear is a warrior-only weapon. We also realize that ranged hunters may have felt a bit left out last time, so we've gone ahead and given them a pretty strong crossbow option in this round.
Okay.
Well, Phase 3 of Season of Discovery will soon be upon us, and with it comes new loot, new opportunities to gain experience, and new adventure. Let's take a quick look at our new PvE world event called Nightmare Incursions. Picture, if you will, the 4
Slow down. New PvE world event? What's going... Okay, hold up.
emerald portals scattered across Azeroth.
Okay.
At this point in history, the Dragons of Nightmare, Terrar, Ysondra, Emerus, and Lethan have not yet arrived to spread their terror. However, as you approach each portal, you can't help but sense hidden danger.
Uh-oh.
Something's not quite right. Those brave enough to enter an emerald portal will be plunged into a realm seeping with corruption and overrun with dragons, treants, and other poor souls driven mad by the corruption. But beware, not all foes are alike. Some enemies can be defeated by a single seasoned adventurer, while others are perhaps too powerful to be faced alone. Nightmare Incursions offer repeatable PvE content for levels 25 through 50. To check it out, simply enter one of the 4 emerald portals located in Duskwood, Ashenvale, Hinterlands, or Feralis. This is a great new opportunity to earn experience, and those who choose to jump in and fight the corruption will have the chance to earn reputation with an all-new faction called the Emerald Wardens.
I was going to say, like, is this just sort of like a catch-up leveling mechanic? Maybe in part, but also at 50 you're going to want to do it because you're getting rep.
With great danger comes great rewards. The Emerald Wardens will be very grateful for your help and will be offering a selection of choice new items to sweeten the deal. One of the cool things about Nightmare Incursions is that we plan to include some rewards at different player levels, as there will be content available for players roughly level 20 all the way to 50 across all 4 Nightmare portals. The first example is this Nightmare Siphon Trinket, which could be really fun for low-level alts.
Look at that. Yo, that's sick. Restores 150 health and mana when you kill a target that gives experience or honor. That's so good. Requires level 20. That's so good for leveling. That is such a good leveling trinket. Roar of the Dream. Finger, 14 stamina. Your harmful spells have a chance to increase spell damage by 66 for 10 seconds. That's a sick ring. This is probably best in slot ring. I don't know, probably.
For level 50, we have the Roar of the Dream, a somewhat unique ring that has a sizable spell damage proc on it. Lastly, we also plan to take a page from the Burning Crusade playbook and make a level 50 PvP set available at Honored with the new Emerald Wardens faction.
There you go.
This set isn't as powerful as some of the other PvP item rewards we plan to add this phase, but it's a good stepping stone into the better items later on. With the launch of Phase 3 comes a host of interesting new updates to professions. Continuing on from the first 2 phases, we'll be introducing a new quest chain to give players access to new nightmare armaments, crafting recipes, as well as some fun things for engineering, enchanting, and alchemy. We've also learned a few lessons from the previous phase of professions, so the cost to access the recipes will be essentially free.
Okay, we are halfway through this video, and I have to say, so far, everything sounds awesome. Everything sounds great.
In terms of raw gold, and the cost of the recipes that Ziri offers and Nomergon are going to be decreased as well, in case you want to buy additional recipes for completion or you have an alt that wants to snag the recipes for themselves. We think gold sinks are important and are going to explore different ways later on to do that that are not so directly on the critical path of gear progression.
That's great.
Here's a quick look at a few of the crafted items you can make this phase.
What is a gold sink, by the way, for those of you that don't know what that means? A gold sink is something that removes gold from the game. A gold sink is an anti-inflationary mechanism, okay? If you don't have gold sinks, then the gold circulating the game, it goes up and up and up and up and up, and then the economy adjusts in accordance, right? So gold sinks are important. You don't want to go too far with them, though. Hold up. Profession updates. Shoulder pads of the deranged. Armor, spell damage, equip. Damaging spells have a chance to increase spell damage by 30 and chance to dodge by 2%. This has no effect outside of areas under the influence of the nightmare. So I was going to say, this seems like Warlock tanking shoulders, but it only works inside of the nightmare. Okay, void-powered Slayered Vambracers channels the power of the void, granting immunity to fear for 15 seconds. Oh, you think it's going to work inside of the raid also? If it works inside the raid, then great. I think it should. Screaming Chain Pauldrons. Damaging spells have a chance to increase your spell casting speed by 10%. So this is for the elemental shamans, okay, or the elemental shamans.
There are many more across various professions and for various specs and roles.
Okay.
As you can see, some of these items offer interesting new on-equip effects which are applied while you're under the influence of the nightmare. If you'd prefer to stay nightmare-free, we've got some cool new items, such as the void-powered Slayer's Vambraces, which can grant you immunity to fear for 15 seconds. We do plan to allow you to pick up specializations this phase, as well as allow you to level to 300 in each profession. Additionally, we've added a few new surprises here. For example, we are adding a quest to allow you to get additional
professions uncapped in Phase 3, level all the way to 300. I have to say, that's a shocker. I did not think they were going to let us go to 300. I thought they would stop us at 270 or 265 or something. No, we're going all the way. Okay.
Additional potion, elixir, and flask procs when crafting those types of consumables. You'll also have to do a little bit of legwork to unlock these things, but the benefits should be well worth it. The lion's share of our new toys in...
Dude, I really, really hope that they deliver on profession specializations. In Vanilla WoW, there are kind of profession specializations for a lot of professions. They are really, really underwhelming, though, generally speaking. So I really hope that I hope the decision matters, and I hope the reward for the decisions are really, really cool and interesting.
Involving professions specs will be coming after level 60, and we have some very cool things planned there to allow you to make the most of your professions. Well, that was a lot of updates. I hope I didn't forget anything. Josh, I'm not forgetting anything, am I?
Now that you mention it, Nora, there is one small system update you might have missed. But first, hi, I'm Josh Greenfield, Senior Game Producer on WoW Classic.
Hi there.
So there is one small system change coming, and honestly, the update is so minor we almost didn't mention it, because we didn't think anyone would really care, but since we're all previewing things, we figured we might as well. So, in 1.15.2 with Phase 3, you may happen upon...
Purchase a dual talent specialization. There it is. They're finally doing it.
On a dashing dwarf from a faraway land that has one very special talent that he wants to share with you for a small fee, of course. Actually, to be a little bit more specific, he has 2 sets of special talents to share.
Oh.
Like I said, we were pretty sure this wouldn't be a big deal to most.
All you need is a sack of 50 gold pieces. Talking about gold sinks, there you go. There's one.
Players, we probably should have just left it out of the presentation entirely. So, with that, we're approaching the home stretch, but we've got a tiny bit more to discuss, and we want to take some time to cover a few other miscellaneous topics, commonly asked questions, as well as a quick look at how things will start to shape up at level 60. So let's jump right into that. So the first topic here is world buffs. As with the previous phases, we'll continue to allow you to use the previous world buff up through the current max level. The new raid, Sunken Temple, will also include a new world buff.
Makes sense.
We'll also be making some rather powerful consumables available for exchange on a certain...
Very powerful Zanza-esque consumables will be available as well. Cool.
NPC using materials found in the Sunken Temple raid.
I like that.
These are spiritually similar to the Zanza elixirs that you could obtain by exchanging items found in Zul'Gurub. They're quite powerful, so you'll definitely want to bring them with you to the raid when you can. Also, as with previous phases, we did want to clarify that bankable, repeatable turn-in items will not function to allow you to level quickly from 40 to 50.
Yeah, we did a lot of that.
We really love the preparation aspects of original WoW, and things like pre-questing are great. But being able to bank hundreds or even thousands of repeatable quest turn-in items to get multiple levels right when the phase begins is not going to...
Wait a minute, are you telling me that I spent the last 2 months farming water pouches secretly off stream 8 hours a day for the last 2 months for no reason? No!
To be supported in this or any phase going forward. To be clear, this includes things like Marks of Honor, Wastewander water pouches, and the troll necklaces from the hinterlands. One of the big lessons we've learned in Season of Discovery is how tricky it can be to balance the level up journey and the outdoor world, but to also encourage players to play multiple characters. It's tricky to manage, especially against a seasonal backdrop where the content phases are relatively short by World of Warcraft standards. To help out with this a bit, we introduced a very powerful Discoverer's Delight XP buff at the midpoint of Phase.
I'm reading ahead, sorry. Keeping the 50% XP bonus from 40 to 49. Wow. Wow. Did I say 40, 50, did I say, whatever, 50%. 50% XP bonus, 40 to 49. That's crazy.
Too. And while that was effective at increasing the speed at which you could level alts, it didn't really help to reduce the fatigue that came with leveling your first main character. By way of a compromise, in Phase 3, you will earn 50% additional XP from all sources from levels 40 to 49, and this will be active right when Phase 3 goes live.
Wow.
This is just to give a slight nudge right away. It will still be a sizable number of hours to hit 50, huge. But this will help move that along without feeling like you're either just flying through zones or conversely in danger of running out of quests if huge. Questing is your preferred leveling method.
Now, is the sleeping bag XP bonus going to work from 40 to 49 as well? Probably it should. Probably, right?
Note that the 100% buff from 1 through 39 will remain in place as well. Overall, we think that these buffs are a decent solution, but they aren't what we consider to be ideal. We're going to carry a lot of what we learned forward if we do something like this again, and maybe look at other adjustments we can make to help smooth the leveling curve in general. Additionally, as with Black Fathom Deeps before, Gnomergon will give a sizable amount of XP for each boss kill, so continuing to run that with your guild will be a worthwhile activity when it is available to you. On the same token, we see Nightmare Incursions as a good quick way to get a good chunk of XP if you find yourself wanting a change of pace from your normal...
So to be clear, in order to participate in a Nightmare Incursion, you must go to one of the 4 Green Dragon World portals. Nightmare Incursions, they're not just in random places, right? To be clear, I think you have to go to one of the 4 portals that we already know about. Okay.
Leveling routine. There's a lot of repeatable content that gives experience there. As for the raid release and lockout schedule, we've been thinking a lot about this, and we've decided to shift Sunken Temple to a weekly lockout, and it will be available right at the release of Phase 3.
You know what this means? We're going to have a really cool race to World First. There's going to be a lot of sweaty guilds with speed leveling to get World First if you can do it from day 1. Okay, crazy. 1 week lockout, okay.
Kind of similar to what we did with Gnomergon in Phase 2. Players will have 5 full days to hit level 50 if you want to try and get in a raid during that first lockout, and then the raid will work like any other weekly lockout, resetting on Tuesday or your normal regional lockout day. We decided to make this swap for a few reasons. First, we've gotten feedback from players saying they would like to have a bit more consistency with their raid schedule, and with the raid size going up to 20 players in this phase, being able to plan long-term is even more important. We'll also talk about this a little bit more in the next few slides, but we're also thinking ahead to what the raiding landscape will look like once we hit level 60. That also informs this decision. Lastly, on this topic, we will be sure we are being generous with drops to compensate for this change. That's a good segue to talk about level 60.
Fewer lockouts.
Since we're getting close to 60, we think it makes sense to dig into a few more details of what you can expect starting with Phase 4. This preview is very, very early and in no way comprehensive, but it's just meant to be a minor sneak peek at some things we have cooking. Again, to stress that much of what you will see here is still very much in development, and some specifics could and likely will change. This is more of a look at our general thought process, rather than the actual set-in-stone plans we have. As we alluded to a few slides ago, we plan to standardize raid lockouts from level 50 and beyond to a weekly reset. This includes things like Zul'Gurub, Ruins of Anchorage, and Onyxia's Lair.
That's a big change. ZG, AQ20, Onyxia, 1 week raid lockout. Okay.
We also want to assure with our itemization updates, many of the items, even in early raids, remain relevant for a pretty good long time.
Okay.
Ultimately, this is a very classic approach, and many items you got, even as your pre-raid best in slot, such as the Hand of Justice or the Savage Gladiator chain, remained good for several tiers, and we want to carry this forward.
Yep.
With this in mind, however, we know you will likely want to run several different raids a week, but we want to avoid a situation where logistics gets messy because you have to contend with a large number of irregular, unwieldy raid lock timers.
Is this a good change, getting rid of 3-day lockouts? Yeah, I think so. 3-day lockouts were kind of weird and annoying. I think having everything on a 7-day lockout, Tuesday morning, Wednesday if you're European, that's a good change. And by the way, every single person is saying, yeah, it's a good change, other than one guy, he likes 3-day lockouts. Okay, there you go.
By the time Blackwing Lair is out, for example, there's going to be a large menu of relevant things to do at level 60, and being able to plan and schedule activities on a predictable cadence is going to be very important.
Yep.
Last quick note on this, while Upper Blackrock Spire is technically a 10-player raid...
Let me tell you something funny. Back when I was in middle school and high school, I used to skip school all the time to stay home and play WoW. I never skipped school on a Tuesday. I never got sick on a Tuesday. You know why? Because Tuesday was patch day and the servers were going to be down for 10 hours straight. So, hey, you would bet your ass I was going to be at school on Tuesday, but Wednesday, hey, I'm feeling sick. I'm not going in, sorry.
It's never had a lockout, and that will remain true. It's essentially a 10-player dungeon and will remain that way. So go farm those Briarwood Reeds.
Hell yeah.
Another very frequently asked question we've received is, what about weapon skill racial bonuses? From the start, we've suggested that you shouldn't need to worry too much about things like orc and human weapon skills long term, and that you should feel good about choosing whatever race you want based on their aesthetics or other bonuses that race gets.
Racism is solved. It's over.
Every phase, we get asked for a status update on this, and we just wanted to confirm that yes, the solution is coming at level 60. At level 60, you will be able to discover a method to essentially swap in and out up to 2 weapon skill bonuses for your character. So, for example, if I were a Troll Fury Warrior and I had a mace and a dagger, I could swap my passive bonuses to +5 maces and +5 daggers. Please note that these weapon skill bonuses do not stack with each other or with a certain race's.
Okay, so you know what this means? This means that every single warrior in Season of Discovery that played human rather than gnome is a dumbass, right? Because now gnomes can have the plus weapon skill also. And then also you get Escape Artist, which is just better. There you go. Gnomes stay winning. Gnomes never lose. All they do is win.
Normal passive weapon skill bonus. So in the same scenario, if I were a human warrior, I already get +5 maces from my racial skill. So instead, I might want to use +5 bows and +5 daggers so that maybe my bow skill had a better chance to hit if I was pulling higher level mobs. Just like your racial skills, however, these passives will stack with any weapon skill you gain from items, such as Obsidian Edge Blade or Maladath Ruined Blade of the Black Flight.
Okay.
These unlockable passives will be available right at level 60.
Edge Masters
and
also.
While there will be a short discovery to unlock them, everyone who wants them will have access to them.
Dude, you know, if they want to be super shameless going into Phase 3, you know what they do? Paid race changes. For $20, you can change your race. This would be the time to do it. They would make money.
Early on.
They would
Continuing
make money.
that line of thought, yes, priests will also be able to unlock other races' unique priest spells as well, such as Devouring Plague and Fear Ward. We don't want to spoil how this will work just yet, but just like weapon skills, we do get asked about this a lot and wanted to confirm that this was also coming.
So, bro, you can be like a human priest with star shards. Amazing.
And would be available early on at level 60. There will also be discoveries tied to accessing these spells as well.
Okay.
So this is the last big item in our level 60 preview, and we think it's the most impactful, as items are obviously going to be a major focus of the new level 60 endgame. We're essentially totally revamping tier sets to add multiple variants for different specs and roles that each class can fill.
Wow. See what this says? We are doing off-spec tier sets at level 60 in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. That's huge. That's actually huge.
Variants for different specs and roles that each class can fill. We don't necessarily intend to make a full set for every single niche playstyle in every raid tier, as some classes could end up with upwards of 5 to 7 sets every few months. But we do want to try and cover a lot of the major roles, as well as some new playstyles we've added to different classes, so that most unique roles each class has access to get something cool at some point during their level 60 journey.
Okay.
Additionally,
So do you think Warlocks are going to have a Firestone melee Warlock Firestone tier set? Where you're doing like, you know, attack power, melee fire damage? Yeah, most certainly, right? Definitely. Okay, yeah,
we plan to revamp many existing non-set dungeon and raid items at level 60, as well as adding new best in slot or nearly best in slot crafting options at 60. We think there's a lot of fun and interesting things we can do with the level 60 professions and profession specialization crafts, and we plan to expand on those to keep crafting more relevant for a longer period of time. Lastly, swapping profession specializations will be easier and more flexible, but will likely have a cost associated with doing it.
Okay, but that's at 60, not 50. Okay.
So we're still ironing out the final design for what this will look like, but if you're familiar with how this worked in Burning Crusade, that might be a good starting point to inform how this might work. Finally, here's a few quick examples of what potential new tier sets could look like.
Let's look at the Lawbringer here. Okay, so this is Paladin, improves your chance to get a critical strike, and you get increases damage done by holy spells and effects by up to 23. You have your new set bonuses, increases holy damage done by Crusader, Judgment of Crusader, critical strike chance of Exorcism and Holy Shock, bonus by 4%, gives the Paladin a chance on every melee hit to cause holy damage to erupt from them, dealing like 300 damage. Okay. Cenarian Tunic, this is just like Boomkin set, Moonfire damage, Insect Swarm duration, critical hit chance of Wrath and Starfire. Cool. Night Slayer, energy every time you parry an attack. Oh, every time you parry an attack. Blade Dance now also reduces magic damage you take. Okay, this is the Rogue tanking set. Instead of putting the Rogue into stealth, Vanish now grants 90% magic damage reduction. Wow, that's pretty crazy. It actually is.
These are very much not finalized, so any of the stats or set bonuses
all of those could
and probably will change. So first off, you'll notice we've got a tanking rogue set with a very interesting 8-piece bonus. We've also got a Shockedin Paladin set that really plays up key abilities such as Exorcism and Holy Shock. Lastly, we have a Boomkin set that really leans into some of the bonuses we've recently added to Moonkin form. Again, these are somewhat early on, rough draft versions of some of these items, but we think being able to make exciting new variations of these iconic item sets is very cool, and it's going to be a defining feature of the level 60 endgame. So with that, we're done with today's presentation. Thank you for bearing with us on this one, as it was a long one. We've had a blast on this wild season of Discovery journey with you so far, and we honestly can't wait to get Phase 3 into your hands, as well as provide a bit more information on Phase 4 as we start getting a little bit closer to that. As always, we want to express a heartfelt thanks from the WoW Classic development team. Thank you for playing with us, thank you for the feedback, and thank you for the participation in helping us develop this season.
This was a great video.
Again when Season of Discovery Phase 3 goes live shortly. Thank you again, and goodbye.
There it is. April 4th, 2024, 1 p.m. Western. This was great, man. Like, I think probably, sorry about that. I think probably the only thing that I had wanted to hear that we did not hear was about level 50 Alterac Valley. In Phase 1, we had Warsong Gulch. In Phase 2, we had Arathi Basin. In Phase 3, we don't get a new BG. There is no new BG. Now, normally, Alterac Valley is level 51 to 60. So we've never had 50 Alterac Valley. But I was hoping that we would have a special level 50 Alterac Valley just for Phase 3. And then at level 60, I was hoping we're going to get a new BG, like the Ashara crater or whatever it's called, right? So yeah, that's the one thing we didn't hear about that I was hoping we'd hear about. Everything else, though, I think is great. I think everything that they told us about today is really, really great. We got a lot of really, really good news today. A lot of the runes seem interesting. In Phase 2, we got a lot of sort of uninteresting passive runes. And I think you have to do a little bit of that, because if you have new, like, on-use runes every single phase, before you know it, every class has to have 30 keybinds or 35 keybinds to be played effectively. So you can't just keep on adding spells and spells and spells and spells. Otherwise, the classes just become really, really complex and cumbersome to play, which is not really what you want from the classic WoW experience. If you want that experience, maybe you go play Dragonflight, but a lot of the runes seem pretty cool. I'm happy about this. Sunken Temple, 20 man. I think that's going to be great. I think what they are doing with PvP sets, tier sets, and set bonuses, and accommodating like a more diverse set of specs, incorporating, you have a Shadow preset, you have a Boomkin set, you have a Rogue tanking set, you have a Metamorphosis Warlock tanking set. I think that's a really good decision. In vanilla WoW, like regular no changes vanilla WoW, a lot of specs don't really have gear to make them shine, and so I think offering gear to those sort of like less common specs, the meme specs, is a good thing worth doing. Chat, are you happy with everything we heard today? Are you happy with everything we heard today? Yes or no? Let me see in the chat. Let me take a look. Everyone is saying yes. Pretty much 99% of people are saying yes, 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 yep. So I think when phase 2 got announced, we had to wait like 3 or 4 weeks. Now we only have to wait 10 days. So they're announcing it a little bit closer to the launch date. Okay, that's fine. Dude, I'm happy. Really, one of the biggest complaints that people have had, and this is my own complaint as well, with Season of Discovery, is not that anything is really bad in Season of Discovery. The big complaint is that there's not enough of it. It's like, hey, listen, there's not enough content. Hey, listen, I wish I'm enjoying everything that I'm being given. I like it, but I'm not being given enough, right? And so does it seem like phase 3 is giving us more than we got in phase 2? Do you think phase 3 is going to be a bigger phase than phase 2? I think we kind of need to get our hands on it to really know, but I'm gonna guess yeah. I think probably so, but I need to get my hands on it and actually play it for a little while. We have a new reputation, new raid, same PvP, but new rewards for it. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we'll see. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. That's it though. Let me know what you think about this. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, drop a comment in the video. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, stay safe.